So one of the biggest influences I've had in my life is the fact that I grew up in a domestic violence household. My parents were together for 19, 20 years, and if just seeing us on the outside, you would never have thought things were going on that were actually happening inside the house. But the minute you stepped in there and you became a part of our household, things completely changed. There would be nights, pretty much almost every night, they were arguing and fighting with each other, but other nights, things would turn violent. And my older brother at the time was the only person who could actually keep my dad off my mom, but other than him, whenever he left, it was just pretty much on me and my sister. We weren't strong enough to take back my dad or anything like that. Whenever my older brother was there, he was the one who was able to keep my dad off my mom. And so we always looked up to him because he was able to do that. But once he left our house, my dad pretty much was able to get more violent with my mom, and we weren't able to keep him back as good as he was. And so I always felt down on myself and that I wasn't able to pretty much keep my mom safe. And so I always felt bad about myself. But and I never thought I could actually help her. But then there was one day where it's probably like one of the most things that I can remember the most was that my mom and dad were arguing in the room like they normally did. And then it got quiet, and you just hear my mom screaming, and she comes running out of the room holding her eye. She's saying that my dad hit her. And so me and my sister actually held my dad back as my mom ran out the house and was able to pretty much leave our house and go over to one of our friends. And so that night kind of separated that's when my parents kind of separated after that. So after the instance happened when my parents separated, my dad started living in an apartment out Lancaster, and my mom lived in a house that was actually right across the street. Well, not even across the street, right next door to my grandmother's house in Dallas. And so that stayed like that for, was it almost I don't want to say 6 months, probably almost a year. It was like that, and everything was fine just because they were separated. Then it was my sister's senior year, and her and my mom and my godparents was just who we ended up staying with for a very long time while everything was going on. Actually, they took my sister and my mom out on a cruise for my sister's graduation. And from what my sister has told us in different pictures we saw, it was one of the happiest times we had ever seen my mom before. And so it was really exciting seeing her like that. And so she said my sister told us that my mom had finally decided that she was gonna divorce my dad and go and live how she wanted to, and so that she wouldn't always be in that. And so it came to a time, I believe, when my dad found out, and another instance happened where he ended up going over to where my mom was staying and abused her again. And for this time, she actually ended up reporting it. And the report got in and filed and everything, but as she was talking back and forth to a police officer, and they were saying that they were getting ready to pick him up, and he was supposed to be picked up on January 8th, 2013, but they were a little too late.
A mother of 3 is dead tonight after being gunned down outside her workplace.
That's right. Her estranged husband admitted to police that he killed her. It happened at UT Southwestern late last night, and this evening we're learning new details about the couple's past. NBC5's Ray Vieta is live at UT Southwestern with the latest details. Ray?
Deanna, some of those details coming from this arrest warrant. The scene of the crime right behind me. The family of Karen Smith tells me what took place there was the worst form of domestic violence.
Karen Smith is in the hearts of many at UT Southwestern this evening, where she was an executive assistant and where she lost her life. In an arrest warrant, her estranged husband, Ferdinand Smith, told police he waited for her in a campus parking garage last night. The warrant says he admitted that he confronted the complainant and began arguing about their marital problems. It goes on to say he became enraged and shot and killed the complainant.
So on the night of January 8th, on the day of that, my dad actually came and picked us up from school, picked me and my little brothers up early from school and took us over to the apartment he was living in. And we stayed there. That's because that's what we normally do after school. He would come and get us and we would stay over there. But he picked us up early, and nothing was weird about it. But whenever he was leaving, he was like, he told us he loved us, and then he kissed one of us. He kissed all three of us, which was really strange for him to do. Not saying that he didn't love us or anything like that. He just didn't say it like that. And so he left, and time went by. My sister came and got us, came and got me and my little brother, and took us over to my godparents' house, which we were staying. We went to bed that night because my mom normally didn't get in until after we would sleep. And so it was about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and my goddad came and woke us up and told us to come downstairs. And we're obviously a little confused. It's a little early. We're wondering why we're up so early. And we see my my grandmother downstairs, which is really confusing to see her over there. And she told us that my mom had been killed that night, and that my dad was the one who did it. And we were all shocked, of course. We were all crying. We couldn't believe her. I'm crying. My brothers and sisters are crying. But then I look over and I saw them, and it was one of the times where I decided that I needed to be there for them. And so I kind of stopped crying myself to be a rock for them, per se, that they could lean on. I was the person that they could come to and cry on. And that's pretty, at that moment, that time, that's how I've been ever since then. I've been that person they can come and lean on and cry on. And I've just, if you ask anybody in my family, I'm just the one who doesn't cry that much. I'm just kind of the hard person, per se, that when something sad in my family happens, I'm the one that they just kind of look at and see, and I'm not the one who's crying. So after all that, my mom always wanted to be cremated, and so that's what we did. We upheld her wishes. We cremated her, and then we kept the rest of her ashes in the actual urn that we have at our house. It's a brown box that has her name and carved on the side. It says Karen, and we keep it right above my uncle's mantle. Afterwards, after everything happened, we stayed with my godparents for the rest of the school year. It was my sister's senior year, so she was graduating, getting ready to go off to college. But me and my little brother had to decide who we were going to live with. And we ended up deciding to go stay with my aunt and uncle, which probably was one of the best decisions that we actually made, because my aunt and uncle they're really good parents. My uncle's a really good father figure that I actually have in my life right now. My aunt as well. She's a great mother figure that we can look up to whenever. The same with my uncle. They're both just wonderful people to be around, and I love them. So growing up in a domestic violence household has really made me the person I am today. It's made me kind of a hard person, which for me isn't something I see as a bad thing. Most people would, but I don't. I don't express my emotions as most people do. I'm more of a kind of a funny person that just kind of shows that emotions through humor. It's just how I'm able to let things out. It's how you get through things when you grow up in a household like this. You find different ways to cope. You find different ways to get through things. Make a situation that seems as bad as it is a little bit funnier, and make it less hard on yourself. That's how my household, any household, from the household I live with my aunt and uncle to whenever I live with my parents, we've always been a humorous family. It's how we get over everything. That's how we got through my mom dying, how we got through that my dad's still in prison. It's how we get through everything. We joke, and that's become the person I am today. It's just who I am, and I love the person I am. And I know most people wouldn't agree with this, but I wouldn't change anything that's happened to me, because without any of that happening, I don't know if I would still be the same person I am today.